Hey everyone, I am here today, and rather than bringing you another free-to-play diary video, since there basically wasn't really a lot going on, didn't do that yesterday, I wanted to talk about Spider, because this is something I've wanted to talk about for a little while now, and I'm basically just now getting around to it. Also, is my face sideways? It was a little sideways. That's okay. We'll be fine. So let's pretend you're in this situation. So, you've opened something new. Let's say it was, where's Tayrell? A Tayrell. And this is something I found myself in the position of a while ago, right? Like, open up a champion, I need to get them an accuracy banner. How long am I expected to spend in Spider before I get an accuracy banner? That's an important question, right? So figure out, like, am I lucky? Am I unlucky? What's going on? So just as a real quick, like, back of the napkin math type calculation, we have 13 different factions, 3 different accessory types, and there are 5 different main stats you can have on a banner. The 5 are attack, defense, HP, resistance, and accuracy. We're only concerned with one of those. So there's 5 different substats, 13 different factions, so 5 by 13 is 65. But then again, there's 3 different accessories. Only one in 3 of those is a success. So 195 the different options from Spider. And that's only if we're specifically talking about one type of banner. Everything else we're going to call a failure, right? Like if I'm looking for a high elf banner with accuracy and I get a lizardman banner with accuracy, that's a failure. I was looking for a high elf accuracy banner. So that's the framework we're looking in right here. So at any given point in time, you would be expected to run 195 more runs of Spider to get an accuracy banner, right? Because these are independent events. It doesn't matter how many you've run so far. If you are going into Spider and saying, how long am I expected to do this? From right now, you're expecting to do 195 more. So if you get that expectation from the start, that's 195 times 16, or 3,100 energy, right? So 3,100 energy is what you expect to be able to spend, right? So what if you are the average person? And when I say average, I mean if you had 100 people in the room, about 50 people are more lucky than you and 50 people are less lucky than you, how long do you have to spend? And actually it's less, right? It'd be 2,100 energy or so. So if you are either average by terms of expected value or average in terms of you're the 50th percentile, we're looking at 21 or 3,100 energy to get that one specific banner you're looking for. However, let's say you are the luckiest 10%, you're expecting to spend 311 energy, or about 20 runs. So if you are luckier than 9 out of 10 other people, you've got 20 runs on Spider to get that one piece of gear you're looking for. However, if you are the unluckiest 10%, so 9 out of 10 people are luckier than you are expecting to spend about 7,100 energy. So that's quite a big difference, right? So if of the 2 different versions of average, you're either 31 or 2,100 energy being spent. If you are in the unluckiest 10%, you are looking at 7,100 energy to spend on Spider before you get your high elf accuracy banner to use your Tayrell. So that's a big range. So at this point, if you do not care at all about how I came up with any of that, you can stop watching the video now. We are about to get into some math. So now that we've done that, let's just take a quick look. Let's get out of this for a quick second at something called probability density functions and cumulative distribution functions. So they're 2 different things. So this top picture here is, most of you recognize it, it's a bell curve, right? So it's the probability distribution for a normal random variable. So most things we would look at as being normal. So like, there's reason to believe that maybe IQ is normally distributed, or all kinds of different things like height and some things along those lines. But we see these bell curves, right? Like they happen a lot. We see them. That's kind of what we think about when we think about probabilities. And that's what's going on in the top one. And that basically tells us that if we're looking at a range, what is the probability within that range? On the other hand, what the bottom is showing us, the cumulative distribution function, is saying the left-hand side is from 0 to 1. And it's saying these are the percentiles. And it says, okay, what is the 50th percentile? And for a normal distribution, normally we move it over so that it's set at 0. So the 50th percentile would just be at 0. So half or above, half or below. Now, from there we could do some other things, but the important part is, if we have this cumulative distribution function, we're going to have on the left side percentiles, and then we're going to have some function value just showing up in the graph. So we actually want to take the inverse of this. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to find here is we're trying to find a random variable or a distribution that is similar to the process we're looking at. So again, we're running Spider, and it's either a failure or a success, and we're doing a bunch of these in a row. And we're going to stop as soon as we get the piece of gear we're looking for, right? So that's kind of what we want to keep in mind, but we want to look at what the CDF for that function is and find if we can do an easy way to find the inverse of it. So just invert the function itself. So let's close this real quick and take a look at, oh, why is it's not open anymore, chat? Because what we want to do is we want to look at the geometric distribution. So let's do that. Display capture instead. So over here, this is the geometric distribution. So on the right, we can see this is similar to what we just saw with the normal distribution, right? Like instead of being a bell curve, it starts out at higher and then starts getting lower, right? So that's one thing to note, that it's not going to be a bell curve. It's not going to look the same. So we're not going to have a bunch of people sitting right in the middle. And then the CDF is slightly different. It's going to be the same sort of shape that we saw before, but all that matters is we know that we're looking for the CDF. Now, thankfully, this CDF is relatively straightforward, right? So we're actually going to be looking at this one. Don't worry about why. But this is going to say that the percentile equals 1 minus, then 1 minus p, where p is our probability of success. Here, that's 1 over 195, right? So 1 in 195 is the chance that we get the correct piece of gear. So p is 1 over 195. And then k plus 1, k represents how many runs we're doing, or how many we have before success, so how many failed runs we have before a success, plus 1. So this is saying, on the run that was a success, this is what the CDF is. So we would say, like, 0.9 equals this, and then we need to solve for k, is what's going on. So that's, I'll do that here in a moment, but just so that I have some reason to convince you guys that this is the correct distribution, right? We're looking at the geometric distribution here. Let's just look at this. When is it an appropriate model? So if the following assumptions are true, it's a sequence of independent trials. So what that means is it's the two different runs together don't influence each other, right? So if I get a dwarf ring in one run, it has no influence on what run I get in the next. So we're good. This is perfectly fine for the first one. There are only two possible outcomes for each trial, often designated as success or failure, right? So either we got a banner for Tyrell or we didn't. We're good so far. And the probability of success, P, is the same for every trial. Perfect. This is exactly what we want. And then if these conditions are true, then the geometric random variable Y is the number of failures before the first success. Perfect. We want to know how many runs we're going to have. So it'll be this plus 1, basically. So we are convinced, or I'm convinced, hopefully you're convinced, that the geometric distribution is what we want to use, which means this CDF is what we want to use. So in here, I have copied over what the CDF was. So this is basically, this capital F is just saying what quantile, so what percent of the population are you, basically in terms of how unlucky you are, right? So like this, if this were 0.99, this is saying 99% of the time someone has gotten a success by this point, right? So that's what's going on here, and this is just the formula. To invert that, we would subtract the 1 to the other side, take natural log of both sides, divide this side over, and then subtract 1, which is exactly what we have right over here. P, if you'll recall, that's the probability of success for this distribution. So P here is 1 divided by 195. I just have that in here so that we have got that. Again, this is 0.5%, right? Approximately 0.5% is how likely you are on any given run to succeed. So now, what is going on here? So this is saying, this point 1 is saying, I am assuming that I am luckier than 90% of everyone else. So 9 out of 10 people are less lucky than I am. How often would I have to do? So that's K. So how many failures before the first success? And it's this. And actually this is slightly wrong. This should be +1. It's not going to it's not really qualitatively going to change anything, but it's going to add basically 16 energy to all of these. So again, it doesn't really change much of everything. But again, if you are luckier than 9 out of 10 other people, you are expecting to have 19 runs that are failures before your first success. So you're going to spend 327 energy. All right, so 327 energy to get that one piece of gear, that one high elf accuracy banner. Now keep in mind, you are going to get all kinds of other stuff, but we only care about getting that one item for that character. So presumably that's a character that's very important for your account and you want to get them their accuracy banner, just like Terrell was for me. So on the other hand, if you recall, I said that the mean was 195 runs, right? Here, this is saying 0.5, so the median, so the middle value is 133 runs. So that means there's 2 different versions of average going on here. If I am someone that no matter how many runs I've done so far, I look and see how many runs do I expect to need to do from here to succeed, the answer is always 195. I'm always expected to need to do 195 more runs. However, people are going to succeed faster than that. A good number of people are going to succeed faster than that. And that's kind of what's showing up right here. So what's going on is there are people that are going to be faster than the expected, right? So the average is 195, but the median is 133. So that's meaning that more than half of people are going to get it done faster than what we would call average. And that's because of this expected value that we're looking at, right? So we're saying anytime I am getting ready to do some runs, I'm expecting to do 195 more. If I've done 600 runs and I haven't gotten my accuracy banner for high elves yet, how many runs am I expecting to need to do before I get that? And the answer is 195 more. When I do those 195, how many runs am I expected to need to do after that? It's still 195. So it's because of how this works, like how these trials are working, because it's all independent, it means that there are going to be people that are really lucky and get it done, or really lucky that are getting it done fairly quickly. And there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of people that get it done faster than what we would call average. However, there's going to be a few people that they're unlucky. And because of how this works, they're going to be real unlucky. So if we look up here, if we are thinking that, you know what, 9 out of 10 people are luckier than I am, which that's not hard, right? Like if you think about a room of 10 people and you ask the question like, whose birthday is the closest? How unlikely is it that your birthday is the furthest away, right? Like it's not that bad, right? So 1 out of 10 times we would think, well, what's going on here? 446 failures, more than twice as much than what is expected to happen. And that's only if you are less lucky than 9 out of 10 other people. So rather than needing what the median person is needing of 2,100 or what the average is of 3,100, you're looking at spending 7,100 energy if you are less lucky than 9 out of 10 other people. Let's go even one step further. What if instead it's 95%, so 1 out of 20 people. So 19 out of 20 people are luckier than you are. You're spending 9,300 energy on average to get that one piece of gear from Spider. Now, even worse, what if it's 1 out of 100? And I didn't do 1 out of 1,000 because that's a little too far out there for the moment, but 1 out of 100, that's just saying that, you know, how many things happen in your life that happen to 1 in 100 people? Like a decent amount if you live a while. This is saying, if you are less lucky than 99 out of 100 other people, you are expected to spend 14,000 energy to get your first high elf accuracy banner, because that would be what we're calling a success. Now, keep in mind, that's almost 5 times as much as the average, and over 6 times as much, or not quite over 6 times, about 6 times as much as the median, right? So again, median, average, they're slightly different here, but that's something to keep in mind here. So if you are saying, well, I've run Spider 400 times, and I still don't have a high elf accuracy banner, this is absolutely ridiculous. The randomizer is broken. Plarium hates me. The answer is, well, no. In fact, it's possible that you're not even as unlucky. You're not even necessarily less lucky than 9 out of 10 people if you ran 400 times, right? You could be running this 1,000 times, and Plarium would look at the data and say, yep, that's going to happen sometimes. Like, that's just how random works. It's you're not getting some astronomically bad luck. It just so happens that there's enough people playing this game that it's going to happen to some people, and there's not really anything that can be done about it, right? It's just that RNG's not broken. They're using a proper randomizer, but you just happen to be in the 1 out of 1,000 that got really hosed in a way. So that's what I wanted to show today. Like I said, I thought this was something that was worth talking about for a while, and this just happened to be the first day that I didn't really want to do a Dear Diary video, and kind of wanted to talk about Spider instead, and how much you're really expecting to spend on energy there for a particular item. So keep in mind, that's not even saying that it's a good accuracy banner, right? So that was, all of this was on Spider 20. So if I'm on Spider 20, there's a chance that I could get a rare accuracy banner with flat attack and flat defense. I'm not happy about that, but it's still an accuracy banner, so that'd still be a success. So keep in mind, these are not numbers for getting a good item. This is for getting an accuracy banner, period, for the faction you're looking for. So that's all I had for today. If you want to catch me live, I do stream every day, Sunday through Thursday at 6 Central Time, so right as the dailies reset. And that's at twitch.tv/cluelesseconomist. So thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you live.